What happens when you stop using your phone for 30 days? There's a moment that happens every single day that most people never notice. It's the split second where your hand moves before your mind does. You reach for your phone without thinking. No notification, no reason, just impulse. And if you pause right now and ask yourself why, the uncomfortable truth is this: your phone isn't a tool anymore, it's a reflex. And for the next few minutes, I want to show you what actually happens when you take that reflex away for 30 days. Not motivational nonsense, not productivity hacks, real psychological and neurological changes that most people are never warned about. Because here's the thing: everyone assumes quitting your phone will make you more productive, fewer distractions, more focus. But that's not what surprised me. What surprised me was how uncomfortable my own mind became when the noise stopped. The boredom, the anxiety, the thoughts I'd been drowning out for years suddenly got loud. And that's when I realized something important. My phone wasn't the problem. It was the anesthesia. Before I quit, my days looked normal. Wake up, check notifications, brush teeth while scrolling, eat while watching something. I worked with a tab open just in case I got bored, and at night, the same ritual, endless scrolling until my eyes burned. I wasn't addicted in the dramatic sense. I still worked, I still functioned, but I was never fully present, not with my thoughts, not with people, not even with myself. My phone filled every gap of silence, and I didn't question it until I removed it. Day one without my phone felt manageable, almost exciting. I told myself this would be easy. I'd finally read more, think more, be more intentional. That confidence lasted about 6 hours, because by the afternoon, something strange started happening. I felt restless, not bored in a normal way, but agitated, like my brain was searching for something and couldn't find it. I kept reaching into my pocket and feeling a small jolt of panic when my phone wasn't there. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about entertainment. This was withdrawal. Your brain runs on dopamine, not pleasure, but anticipation. Dopamine spikes when your brain expects a reward: notifications, likes, new content. Each one trains your brain to stay alert, constantly scanning for the next hit. When you remove your phone, your brain doesn't relax, it panics, because the reward system it relies on suddenly goes quiet. And when dopamine drops, your brain interprets it as a threat. Something is wrong, something is missing. That's why the first days without your phone feel so uncomfortable. By day three, the discomfort intensified. My focus was worse, not better. My mind jumped from thought to thought. I felt anxious for no clear reason. This is the part no one talks about. When you remove constant stimulation, your brain doesn't immediately become calm and focused. It becomes loud. Thoughts you've been suppressing come rushing back. Insecurities, regrets, unfinished goals. All the things your phone helped you avoid suddenly demand attention. And most people quit right here because they mistake this phase for failure. But what's actually happening is recalibration. Your dopamine system has been overstimulated for years. Short videos, infinite feeds, constant novelty. Your brain adapted by raising its baseline, meaning normal life stopped feeling stimulating. Silence felt unbearable. Focus felt impossible. When you remove the phone, your brain has to relearn what normal feels like. And that process is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. Around day 5, something subtle changed. The anxiety didn't disappear, but it softened. My thoughts slowed down just enough for me to notice them instead of running from them. I started finishing tasks without fighting myself every 5 minutes. Reading didn't feel like torture anymore. Conversations felt longer, deeper. I wasn't constantly waiting for an escape. And that's when I realized how fragmented my attention had been before. I wasn't bad at focusing. My brain had just been trained not to. By the end of the first week, boredom returned in a new form. Not restless boredom, but empty space. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't know what to fill it with. This is where the real transformation begins. Because when your phone isn't deciding how you spend your time, you're forced to confront a difficult question. What do I actually want to do? Not what's easy, not what's distracting, what's meaningful. Most people never answer that question because their phone answers it for them. Every spare moment gets filled automatically. But without that crutch, you're left with yourself, your interests, your values, your goals. And if those things are unclear, the emptiness feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort is information. It shows you what you've been avoiding. The second week was quieter. My mind felt clearer, but also more honest. I noticed patterns I'd never seen before. I used my phone most when I felt uncertain, socially uncomfortable, unsure of what to do next. My phone had been a shield, a way to avoid awkwardness, indecision, and vulnerability. Without it, I had to sit with those feelings instead of escaping them. And slowly, something unexpected happened. I started handling them better. Neurologically, this is where things get interesting. When you stop flooding your brain with easy dopamine, your receptors begin to upregulate. They become more sensitive. Activities that once felt boring start to feel rewarding again. Walking, thinking, writing, even doing nothing. This isn't motivation, it's biology. Your brain is remembering how to enjoy effort instead of constant reward. By day 14, my attention span felt different. Not superhuman, but stable. I could sit with a problem longer without feeling the urge to escape. I wasn't constantly checking the time. My thoughts had structure. Instead of reacting to whatever came next, I started choosing what to focus on. That sense of control is rare, and once you feel it, you realize how chaotic your mind was before. But here's the part that surprised me the most. My emotions felt stronger, not just good ones, all of them. Joy felt richer, but sadness felt heavier. Without my phone to numb everything, emotions came back online, and that can be scary, but it's also the point. You can't selectively numb discomfort without also dulling fulfillment. When you constantly distract yourself, life becomes flatter, safer, but emptier. Around day 20, something shifted at an identity level. I stopped thinking of myself as someone trying to be disciplined. I just was. Not because I was forcing it, but because distraction no longer felt natural. This is what people misunderstand about habits. They don't stick because of willpower. They stick because of identity. When your brain rewires, your default behavior changes. Discipline stops feeling like resistance and starts feeling normal. The final week felt calm. Not perfect, not blissful, but grounded. I wasn't happier in a constant sense. I was steadier, less reactive, more intentional. And when I finally turned my phone back on after 30 days, something strange happened. I didn't want to use it the same way. Notifications felt intrusive. Scrolling felt empty. I could feel how aggressively everything was designed to pull my attention. And for the first time, I had enough distance to choose. So what actually happens when you stop using your phone for 30 days? First, your brain panics, then it protests, then it recalibrates. You confront boredom, anxiety, and suppressed thoughts. Your dopamine system resets. Your attention stabilizes. Your emotions return. And eventually, your sense of agency comes back online. You stop living reactively and start living deliberately. But this isn't about quitting your phone forever. That's not realistic. The real lesson is awareness. Once you know how your phone affects your brain, you can't unknow it. You start asking better questions. Why am I reaching for this right now? What am I avoiding? Is this adding something to my life or taking something away? Those questions alone change behavior. Most people are exhausted not because they do too much, but because their attention is constantly fragmented. Their brain never rests, their thoughts never finish, and their phone is always there to fill the silence. But silence isn't empty. It's where clarity lives. It's where ideas form. It's where you reconnect with yourself. If you're watching this and thinking about trying it, don't romanticize it. The first days will be uncomfortable. You'll feel bored, restless, and tempted to quit. That doesn't mean it's not working. It means it is. Give yourself 30 days. Not to become someone new, but to remember who you were before your attention was constantly for sale. Because the truth is, your phone isn't evil, but unconscious use is. And when you stop letting algorithms decide how you think, feel, and spend your time, something powerful happens. You get your mind back. And once you have that, everything else becomes easier to build. The only question is whether you're willing to sit through the discomfort long enough to reach the other side.